Right, hello and welcome to my favorite engine swaps to use for money grinding in Gran Turismo 7. Now I'm going to be going over all of the money grinding events in the game, and starting off we are going to be looking at the WTC700 around Le Mans. So when it comes to money grinding, I've done it quite a lot, and when it comes to engine swaps, well, after testing them all, these are my favorite picks for this event. So starting off with my favorite, we have to be looking at the Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.5 16 Evolution 2 from 1991. Now this vehicle actually gets the engine swap from the Mercedes AMG GT3 from 2020. A modern day race car is what is powering this classic Mercedes vehicle. Now when it comes to why is it so good, we have to look at the tuning sheets to find that out. So we see that the vehicle is on racing hard tires, but the main thing we need to focus on is when we take a look at the ECU, we see the ECU is maxed out. If we look at the ballast is on 0 and the power restrictor is on 100. So there's no limitations or any differences made to a vehicle's power or to the vehicle's weight, because now we see that the vehicle produces 785 brake horsepower and comes in at a weight of 1130 kg. So the vehicle is quite powerful, and when it comes to handling, well, with it being relatively lightweight, it is an absolute weapon through the corners. But because Le Mans has those massive straightaways, you need a vehicle that is very fast down straightaway. And we see that the Mercedes-Benz, well, this vehicle is able to travel over 330 kilometers per hour. In some cases you can actually hit 340 kilometers per hour before you need to brake for the first chicane. The Mercedes-Benz is extremely fast when it comes to going down the straight line, and it is extremely easy to handle and control coming through the corners. Yes, it is rear wheel drive, but with the amount of downforce that is pushing the vehicle down, we don't really see it slipping out, and this is with it having no traction control on. The Mercedes-Benz 190e is extremely planted, extremely powerful, and it's just such an amazing vehicle to drive. And another key feature about it is just the pure fuel economy about it, because on my first lap I ran it on fuel map level 3 and I bumped it on over to fuel map level 4, and even though I did change the fuel map and made it a bit more lean, the vehicle is still traveling over 320 kilometers per hour with absolute ease. The vehicle almost hits 340 again on fuel map level 4. With the vehicle being on a bit more of a lean meat, it is still extremely powerful, and it's gonna gain and reach very high top speeds. The Mercedes-Benz 190e is the perfect vehicle to use for this event, because we see that you are only gonna need to pit a single time. For me, with the vehicle running on fuel map level 4, I was able to get up until the end of the 4th lap before I need to dive into the pits. Now yes, I was using some fuel saving techniques, but I'm not really that strict on it. I can let the vehicle run really high up into RPM, which does guzzle a bit more fuel. But on fuel map level 4, the Mercedes-Benz is absolutely fantastic. It has way more than enough power, and is one of the reasons this is my favorite engine swap to use for this event. Because when we look at lap times, you need a vehicle that is going to be setting lap times faster than a 4-minute 10-second mark to really be competitive. And we see that with the Mercedes, you can go and set consistent lap times sub 4 minutes. I was averaging lap times around the 3 minutes and 55 second mark, which is just simply absurd considering the fact of how old this vehicle is, and usually old vehicles don't really handle that much power very well. But with it having this engine swap, it is truly incredible, and one of the best engine swaps you can drive in Gran Turismo 7 at the 700 performance points limit. Now this vehicle hands down has to be my favorite vehicle to engine swap. But let's say you don't have this engine swap and you are looking for an alternative. Well, my next in line has to be the Nissan Skyline R33 GTR. this vehicle has the engine from the Nissan R33 which is a Group 1 vehicle, and because of that, the way that this vehicle is extremely light on fuel is ridiculous, because you can run this vehicle on fuel map level 1 and you will be able to get, I think, 5 laps of fuel out of it, which is just ridiculous. Now, if we do look at the tuning sheet for this vehicle, we do see we do have to dampen and restrict the power, because we see that the ECU is set to 82 and we did add a ballast of 111 and a positioning of -34, which means now the weight of the vehicle comes up to 180 kgs and the vehicle only produces 643 brake horsepower, which is over 100 less than the Mercedes-Benz. But when it comes to coming down the main straightaway, we still see that this vehicle is able to travel up to 335 kilometers per hour. And with Le Mans, you need top line speed, because with those massive straightaways, it's like half the circuits is a straight, so you need to pick up quite a bit of speed, and that is exactly what the Nissan and the Mercedes does extremely well. But now the Nissan is not only a one-trick pony. Because of the all-wheel drive system, it is extremely grippy, and that includes the rain, because with the WTC700 around Le Mans, well, we know that rain is a high possibility, and with the vehicle even being on racing hard tires, it just allows to put down traction even when the rain does occur. Now, as I said, this vehicle on fuel map level 1, you can just run this vehicle until your tank's empty, and that will really run you up until the end of the 5th lap. And that is just the main thing about this event. You want a vehicle that you don't have to keep diving into the pits and refueling, changing tires, because with this event it takes so long to actually just refuel, and the least amount of time you can spend in the pits, the better. Now with the Nissan, you are going to be setting lap times around the 3-minute 57-second mark, 3-minute 58-second mark, with my initial lap being a 3-minute 55. The thing is, on fuel map level 6, you will not need to dive into the pits at all. There's no need to go into a pit. You can run a no pit strat with this vehicle if there's no rain that's gonna occur, because with update 1.49 the rain is a bit more aggressive and your traction is not the best when it comes to using racing slicks or racing hards in the wet. So that is something you do need to watch out for. But if it does not rain, you do not need to go into pits if your vehicle is on fuel map level 6. But once again, both these vehicles are just incredibly fast, both of them setting lap times under the 4-minute mark on average, which is just absurd. And it's just so simple, easy, fun vehicles to use, and it's just a great alternative if you haven't yet used them. But I mean, with the Nissan Skyline R33 GTR, with that engine swap, I mean, it goes into countless other vehicles, and you can either use the R32 or the R34 GTR. They are both extremely well fitted with this engine swap, but for me, my go-to is the R33 GTR, and this is why it is one of my favorite vehicles to use for money grinding the WTC700 around Le Mans. But hey, let me know your thoughts on my favorite engine swaps in the comment section down below, and I would also love to hear what vehicles you use to money grind this event. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.